Welcome, ladies, to the Real Estate InvestHERs Show, providing inspiration, strategies, and insight to empower women investors to live balanced and financially free lives. Now, here are your co-hosts, Liz and Andresa.
InvestHERs. As we all know, financing deals in today's market can be a bit challenging at times. If you're looking at funding your next real estate transaction, we are so excited to introduce to you Fund That Flip.
Fund That Flip is a lending partner dedicated to grow your real estate investment portfolio. They specialize in fix and flip, buy and hold, new construction, and cash out refi for 1 to 4 units.
Ladies, we have known the founder, Matt, and his team for many years now, and we can assure you that their support goes beyond just lending money. They become a true partner.
So if you're looking for great terms and reliable service, check out fundthatflip.com/investher.
Welcome back, ladies. This is Liz.
And this is Andresa.
Welcome back to the Real Estate InvestHERs Show, where we are all about supporting women globally, really about creating a financial free life and doing it in a balanced way. So we're excited to have you back on this week. We are in very uncertain and chaotic times right now, which I know everyone is experiencing. And we're recording this a week before we're releasing it. So as we release, there could be changes that we don't even know right now.
True.
But I really want to talk
day by day, right?
Day by day. Andresa and I have little ones home. All of our lives have shifted in a way that none of us would even have predicted. So, it's real. And we really want to talk through, how do you invest in real estate or manage even what you have in these uncertain times? Okay, so, and it's going to change. It's going to evolve. But I wanted to give some suggestions on what we're doing. My husband and I, our portfolio is mostly made up of multifamily. We do have a commercial building. We have mixed use buildings, and we do have some construction happening, and we have a flip we're looking to sell. So that's kind of all the things that we have going on right now. So I just want to share kind of from our perspective what we're doing. And again, I'm not an economist. There's a lot of smart people giving suggestions out there. I'm just sharing from my own experience. So, there's a lot of unknowns and questions. And I think, number one, you need to be okay with that uncertainty. And there's some people listening, I know as women, right? We thrive on certainty. So there's a lot, the pendulum has now shifted to a tremendous amount of uncertainty. So the key is, what can you become certain about? You cannot become certain about everything in the world. I wish we can all do that. We can't. So number one, I wanted to give you probably 7 or 8. I actually cut them down. I had 10, but there's too many. So number one is all about education. Okay. This is a great time to educate yourself. Educate yourself. If you're not in a real estate niche that you really wanted to become involved in, educate yourself. Educate yourself on markets, on the market. Educate yourself on what the market did on the last recession. I know we're in a different time right now. It's not going to look like the same as this stock market is crashing. This is we're navigating a world that none of us have experienced yet. So, however, you still can learn about your markets, what it did in the last recession or last couple of recessions. You can understand everything about that market. So as the winds change and opportunities become open, whenever that is, you'll know that market. You don't have to say, hold on, I need to study that market. Right now is the time to study the market and study the niche that you want to get involved in. And just stop turning off the news. Just turn it off. Stay informed, but instead use that time to educate yourself. I'm a big believer of that. Number 2, refinance. Banks are still lending. The time of this recording, okay? Banks are still lending. They're conservative. We spoke to a couple of them this week, but they're looking to still work with their customers. So we are looking at, for us, we were going to be selling one of our portfolios, about 30 units. We've decided not to sell. Who's going to buy it right now in this current condition? And we're going to have to give it away. We're not going to do that. So we decide not to sell. We're going to refinance it instead. We have to get creative 6 months, 12 months down the line, that we don't have any sort of prepayment, kind of breaking the contract early. So, and we told that to our lender, this is something we wanted to sell. If we refinance, what kind of creative way we can structure this so that in 6 months we can still sell. So he's working with us on that and how to structure it. Again, get in communication with your banks. There's a lot of solutions out there. You may not know all of them. So that's number one. Number two, you may need to slow your capital expenditures. You might have a plan this year. I wanted to do this. I wanted to do that. What do you really need to do right now? Right now, you need to preserve your cash. That is really important. So, you may not need to do that important capital expenditure, but you may need to defer it. Okay. So I need to mention that. I know some people are like, no, I need to do that because it's in my capital expenditure improvement plan. Yes. But, again, what can you slow right now? Again, being conservative. Third thing I just want to stress is get into over communication with all your constituents, meaning you might have direct contact with your tenants. Get into communication with them. You may have, obviously, your banks, your lenders, your private lenders, your investors. If you are raising money and you're using equity partners in your deals, you sure as hell know they're thinking about how are those properties going to do? What is the investor that I'm invested in with doing about all this? Are they doing anything? Are they just waiting? Even if you don't have all the answers, we've been sending out communications to our investors, and we don't have all the answers. No one does, but we can tell them what we are doing and what steps we're taking and how, as much as we can. And that's what people want to hear, quite honestly. They don't want to have every answer figured out, but getting in communication is really important. I would highly recommend doing a Zoom call. If you have a group of obviously getting into weekly calls with your property management companies, but if you have investors, get into a Zoom call and talk about the current state of the economy. Just start getting more communication support for them because their lives are being affected. So why not be an extra resource to them right now, even beyond the investments? And that's something that we're going to be doing. We're doing a Zoom call next week with all of our investors. Just to say, this is what we're doing and what are you experiencing? How can we help each other? This is all about getting into more community with people, not less. Depending on your personality and how you deal with things, people are going to want to hear from you and they want to know what you're doing. The next thing is, what can you do to increase income? There are ways to increase income right now, even in this current state we're in. Obviously occupancy is number one. If some of your buildings and some of your properties are not, don't have that occupancy as high as it needs to be, I would get into complete mode of how do we fill those occupancies as quickly as we can. And to say that tenants are not, renting right now, it's not a fair statement. Even just this week, we had 3 closed leases, 3 tenants moving in April 1. Again, the timing of this, I'm not sure where we're headed, what we're doing, but people are still looking for apartments. They also might be downsizing. So your property might be the perfect property for them. If they're paying X dollars and they're a month to month or whatever, they might be looking for a more affordable property because they know their financial situation is changing. So again, don't dismiss. People are still going to need places to live, and you want to reduce your expenses and increase your income as much as you can. I'd also say get into the planning mode. Get into the planning and the strategizing mode. Right now, you want to be conservative, but you should also be looking at, do I have processes written down? If I wanted to go hire someone, when things shift, am I ready to go with that? Am I ready to say, okay, here are our systems and processes? Or wherever you are in your business, just get really curious, get really strategic, and get into planning mode, because things will change. Things will get better. I don't know when, I don't know how, I don't know those answers. I wish I did. I'd be very rich if I did. But I do know with every breakdown, especially like this literally global breakdown, there will be some sort of breakthrough. And there will be a time when we have opportunities as investors. You want to position yourself well for those. That's, all I can say. And whatever that looks like for you, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that we all need to be in communication with each other and not struggle on our own. And that's what we really stand for the investor community. Let's get together virtually and really support one another. And it might look different today than it will look tomorrow, and then we'll look next week. So we're like reshaping our mentality, our way of being, but in like our essence, our hope, and our focus, we really need to help each other to really sharpen that and together go through this in peace and give ourselves grace, but continue moving forward.
And watch the questions you're asking. Are you asking empowering questions? And now's the time to be pivoting, to be flexible, to be agile. That's we're all experiencing that. How do we weather the storm? How do we shift? How do we stay, that's all you can do. And there's always a time to be pivoting and flexible. Last thing I want to share is just be in gratitude. when our minds go with what's not working, we just start thinking about that. I don't know about you, but one negative thought leads to another negative thought. And then you're like, when am I going to get toilet paper? Right. So it gets off, so a whole other conversation Andresa and I had, but, you really want, and I don't mean to dismiss it or laugh about it, but you got to keep your humor up, and you got to keep,
true.
right? You got to keep your energy up.
Yeah.
The key here is to stay positive, stay into solution mode, and stay with compassion, because this is a world thing happening. This is a world situation. I don't even want to say epidemic, because I'm not a huge fan of that word. I just feel so heavy. But it is a huge life-changing situation for all of us. And compassion is really important. Reaching out to people. When you start feeling sorry for yourself, reach out to someone that might need help. That's in a tougher situation that you're in. That's always the case in life. And I think for me, even, I'm trying to do more of that. Like, I know I'm worried about certain things, but where can I help someone? Where can I be a support? That kind of thing. So with that, this is going to continually shift and change. And Andresa, I don't know about you, but I'm really grateful for the community that we've built, that we're building with all of you. So if you're not involved in our InvestHER Facebook community, get over to Facebook, join us, get into the conversation where you're at, what you need. We have meetups across the country that are turning to virtual, and those leaders are announcing those virtual meetings in our Facebook community. We have a virtual meetup that we're going to be rolling out as well. Just stay tuned, because there'll be meetings happening the next couple of weeks. And just have a lot of things happening. And we're just now more than ever are just like, how do we just, grow this community so we can really support all each other?
Absolutely. Stay tuned, be healthy, be peaceful, and let's go.
Let's go is a good one.
If you enjoyed this podcast and want to receive updates on our next interviews, go to our website, therealestateinvestor.com. There, you can subscribe to our show, become part of our investor community, and get updates on upcoming episodes.
If you like our show, please share it with other women who would benefit. And don't forget to leave us a rating on iTunes. We'd really appreciate it. And as always, we encourage you to take one action as a result of today's show and put it into motion so you can live both a financially free and balanced life. Thanks for spending time with us.
Ciao.